to another live stream, 11:45 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Just get into it. The top 50, the 50 the 50 most dynamic sports duos in sports history. We're talking about the sports duos in sports history, dynamic duos, a tandem that really dominated their sport. And I think this is going to be the last look at the basketball duos. This one's going to be about Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas of the Detroit Pistons. These two guys definitely handled their business for the Bad Boys Pistons era. From the mid to late '80s. They were the Bad Boys. Like you say, '87, they were the Bad Boys in a sense. That's when everything took off. Like '87, they went to the Eastern Conference Finals. '87, '88, '89, '90, '91, 5 years in a row, and that was it. They lost the Bulls, Jordan Bulls, and that was it. They won 2 NBA championships. 1989, 1990, should have won it in 1988, fell short against the Lakers. So there's a lot that went on during that time with Joe Dumars and Isaiah Thomas. They were definitely a great tandem in sports history. So this is the 50 most dynamic duos in sports history: basketball, baseball, football, and hockey. This is going to be the last one because I don't think there's going to be no more duos to talk about. No. This is just going to be the final finale of talking about the basketball duos. And this was a great tandem. I mean, they were definitely a team that Detroit Pistons that changed the game because what they did is that they did not have a dominant center, and they still won championships. They went to 5 NBA Eastern Conference Finals. They went to 3 consecutive NBA Finals, 5 consecutive Eastern Conference Finals, 3 consecutive NBA Finals. So they did this without a dominant center. They had James Edwards and Bill Laimbeer. Not household names in the center position from that perspective, but they found a way to win. They changed the game. They were deep. They played defense. They were rugged. They were nasty. They had a backcourt that was dominant. Vinnie Johnson, Dumars, and Thomas. These guys changed the game of basketball forever. Way before the Bulls dominated the game in the league, it was the Pistons in the way they played, but how they played, and in terms of not having a center. At that time, you had to have a dominant center to win a championship. And when you look at what the Pistons did, they definitely changed the game. They didn't have a dominant center. They didn't have a Kareem, a Robert Parrish, Moses Malone, people like that, for example. And they still was able to win championships with their aggressive style. With Mahorn, Bill Laimbeer. They did their thing, man. But those guards, man, Isaiah Thomas, we're going to talk about Joe Dumars, the subject of today's live stream, about why they were so dynamic. Obviously Isaiah came out at University of Indiana, won a championship with them in '81, went to the NBA, did his thing, went through the rigors of trying to be an NBA player at his size, his position. It wasn't great yet until the mid to late '80s. So I'm not gonna go over all that, but if you know Isaiah Thomas, you know how great Isaiah Thomas was for the Pistons. Right? He was such a great player. He was a great assist man. He's one of the top point guards. He was fast. He could shoot. He could score. He could do it all. He was a very exciting player. I mean, this guy was the guy, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was one of the all-time greats, Isaiah Thomas. So, the best years of Isaiah Thomas, you gotta look at from 1983 to 1987. Those 4 seasons. 1983-84, he averaged 21.3 points per game, 11.1 assists a game. 84-85 was his best year. You make a case for his assists. He averaged 13.9 assists. That's almost close to like 14 assists a game. 21.2 points per game. 1984-85. 1985-86, 20.9 points per game. 10.8 assists a game. 1986-87, he averaged 20.6 points per game and 10 assists a game. This guy was dominant. The 4 seasons that he played, Isaiah Thomas, he averaged better than 20 points and 10 assists per game. And during those years, the Pistons advanced to the playoffs. He was all NBA first team the first 3 seasons. He earned a spot in the second team the final year. This guy was the guy, man. Now here comes Joe Dumars in 85-86. He comes to the roster. becomes a big time player at his position. He averaged 86, 87. He averaged 11.8 points a game, 4.5 assists a game. And you look at Dumars, he was a great compliment to Thomas in the backcourt. Since he could play without the ball, yet score when he was called on to do so. He's a fine passer, a fine ball handler, an excellent defender who drew the opposing team's top defensive guard like Michael Jordan, defensive assignment. You know what I'm saying? And Thomas was allowed to focus more on running the team's offense. Then things changed even more. They knock off the Boston Celtics in 1987-88 Eastern Conference Finals. Here they go. They go to the NBA championship round against the Lakers. They were 54-28. They won the Central Division title. They lost in 7 games, but the Pistons were coming. They was going to eventually be champions. And then we look at Thomas and Dumars. They clearly were the best backcourt in the NBA. Dumars averaged 14.2 points a game, 4.7 assists per game during the regular season. Thomas averaged 19.5 points a game, 8.4 assists a game. The latter also revealed his leadership skills, tremendous mental toughness. Obviously, when he sprained his ankle in that game 6 loss to the Lakers, they were up 3-2, and they tied the series up in LA before game 7. Thomas scored 25 points in the fourth quarter. So that was the pinnacle of the Pistons. Then they finally won the championship the next couple of years. They were dominant in 1989, the playoffs 15-2, 15-5 in 1990. So Thompson and Dumars played well exceptionally together and established themselves as one of the great basketball backcourts in NBA history as a tandem. Thomas averaged 18.2 points a game, 8.3 assists per game during the 1988-89 campaign. Dumars averaged 17.2 points per game, 5.7 assists per contest. It was named the All-NBA first defensive team for the first of 4 times. He also earned MVP honors in the NBA Finals in '89 as they swept the Lakers, averaging 27 points a game. And then you look at Dumars, his memorable performance in final history, when Dumars put on a show, 21 points in the third quarter, including 17 straight at 1 point to lead the Pistons to come back from behind victory in Game 3 in that series in '89. And then you look at the second year, Thomas, he won the MVP, 18 points, 18.4 points, 9.4 assists per game in 1989 and 90. While Dumars posted averages of 17.8 points, 4.9 assists per game. Both men were an all-star team. Dumars was on an all-NBA third team. I believe Isaiah won the MVP in 90. I believe he did. Okay, they didn't win the championship the third consecutive year. They lost to the Bulls. Got swept. You know, it happens. But they still put on a great performance that year. 16.2 points a game, 9.3 assists a game for Thomas. Then Dumars had a great year. He averaged 20.4 points a game, Dumars, 5.5 assists per contest. Thompson and Dumars was on the All-Star team for the second consecutive season. All-NBA second straight nomination for Dumars on the third team. Dumars was a great player, man. 19.9 points a game, 4.6 assists a game for Dumars, 18.5 points for Thomas, and 7.2 assists per game in the following season. They did their thing, man. All-star team, third straight year. These guys was dynamic as a duo. So, my conclusion, Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumars spent 9 years as teammates. Just made the playoffs in 7 of those years. Of those 9 years, advanced to the finals in the Eastern Conference 5 times. And the NBA Finals 3 times. Won 2 championships. In 9 years together, Thomas and Dumars combined for 12 appearances on the All-Star team. They were both named to the team 4 years in a row at one point. They also combined for 1 appearance on the All-NBA first team, 2 appearances on the second team, another 2 on the third team. Dumars received 4 nominations to the All-NBA first defensive team. He was picked for the second defensive team once. So Thomas finished in the league's top 10 in assists in 7 of those 9 seasons. So making it into the top 5 on 2 occasions. Dumars finished in the top 10 in scoring once. But if not the greatest backcourt tandem in NBA history, the combination of Thomas and Dumars would certainly have to be considered one of the 2 or 3 best. So I'm done. with the basketball duos. Did the baseball duos, did the football duos, the basketball duos, and finally part 4, I'll be doing the dynamic hockey duos, Wayne Gretzky and Mark Messier. So we're gonna get into the hockey. Include this book. I've been in this book a long time. So I can't wait to get some other content to read for his books. But this conclusion of the basketball duos from the 50 most dynamic duos in sports history. Joe Dumars, Isaiah Thomas, the Pistons of Detroit. Great duo, great backcourt, one of the great backcourts ever. Now you want to talk about Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Before them, it was Dumars and Thomas doing it. See, the Pistons changed the game. They could score, they could shoot, they could do a lot of things in the backcourt. Way before Curry and Thompson came about. The difference is they didn't shoot that many threes the way Curry and Thompson did. They changed the game obviously in what they were doing. But as a backcourt, Dumars and Thomas, who was better during that period of time when they played. So that's it for that. Thanks for the 2 people hitting the like button. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe to the channel. Come back at 1 o'clock. Continue on the countdown of the other 50 greatest hip hop samples in hip hop history, Volume 2. Talk to you soon.